Previously on The Greatest Estate Developer, our hero shattered the sky-high siege, outwitted the corrupt system, and faced the relentless enemy's final gambit. The stakes shattered worlds, and now the story continues. The tale of the greatest estate developer unfolds, each detail swelling the legend. Shadows of hidden debts, rival guilds, and a looming betrayal stir, ready to shatter the family's future. Lee Junwoo remains blind to the approaching treachery. Far off in the kingdom of Fish, officials decree the halt of every floor heating project, a blow that could cripple the Frontier Guild's coffers. The decree rockets to Lee Junwoo's headquarters, igniting his demand for answers. What? They're canceling every floor heating contract. From the shadows, a cut-price contender emerges, promising the same service for a fraction of the cost. A fresh enterprise erupts onto the market, touting Ondal installation for a sliver of the usual price. The guild leader barks a command, finger hovering over the Frontera manor. Infiltrate the Frontera estate and snatch their blueprints. They're hidden somewhere inside. The crew sharpens tools, greed flashing in their eyes.
Go to the Frontera territory and steal their blueprints.
The raid soon uncovers a covert spy lurking within the mansion walls. The raid squad corners a nervous youth in the manor's shadows. The guild leader snarls, "Who is this? Caught rummaging for blueprints, young master." The thief spills the truth. He serves the rival guild that pilfered the Ondal secrets. "Good, then go," the leader curtly orders. The team retreats, puzzled by the abrupt dismissal. Lloyd grins, declaring the dilemma simple. He sketches a bold scheme to unmask the imposters and safeguard his technology, confidence radiating from his engineering edge. The forthcoming strike will set his plan ablaze. A messenger stumbles, "TH this," whispering a shocked expletive, eyes locked on a document bearing the rival's bold claim. The gasp reveals a crisis deeper than mere false advertising. The hidden truth behind the claim will soon erupt. The rival guild that pilfered Frontera's Ondal now snatches the Frontera family crest, broadcasting their dominance over every other guild and monopolizing the kingdom's heating market. Lloyd's domain dries up, no fresh orders, brand and income collapsing. Lloyd's stomach pain spikes, mirroring the crisis's intensity. Guild agents cart off crates of Frontera's heated floor scene, pile ledgers, and strip the family crest from the manor walls. Lloyd watches his workshop emptied, his crew's faces hollowed by loss. Only one sliver of hope remains, a mysterious giant hamster's secret scheme. A voice calls Lloyd's name, whispering, "You truly are." It is Javier, a guild operative, confessing he finally feels inner peace after witnessing Lloyd's unwavering resolve. Javier's calm becomes the first steadfast ally in Lloyd's rescue plot. Javier now urges the giant hamster to spring into action. Junior guild members huddle, proclaiming a torrent of warm, thrilling anime news for the season.
Lloyd submits the complaint to the guild clerk, only to watch guild agents swoop in, confiscating his heated floor scene, ledger crates, and family crest, then arresting him for alleged trade law violations. Lloyd watches his workshop empty, his crew's faces hollow, his life's work dissolving, while Javier's unexpected approval sparks a fragile hope amid crushing disgrace. The guild's trial approaches, confiscated inventions stay hidden, and Lloyd's fate teeters on his ability to outweed a system that already brands him a criminal.
The flex in this chapter was unreal. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari to see who gets flexed on next.
Lloyd siphoned the royal garden's treasury. 3 days later, the city will topple. Suho Kim, a civil engineering student, dozes over a fantasy novel. He awakens inside the manuscript, his vision locked onto Lloyd Frontera's body. The lazy noble, renowned for wine and debt, carries a mountain of obligations. Suho spots the debt as a collapsing structure he can rebuild. He pulls modern formulas from memory, sees cracked aqueducts, sketches fresh bridges. He swears to redesign the estate, rescue the family, stop the ruin. He pores over ledgers, uncovers the vanished gold, drafts a blueprint for a tax-free market stall. First priority, seize the garden, the fief's lifeblood. Lloyd strides into the royal garden, the front line of his reform. A starving sibling's desperate cry echoes through the hall. Lloyd's jaw tightens as the Viscount hurls accusations like stones. The noble ridicules compassion, urging peasants to accept doom. Workers shrink back, fearing the Viscount's wrath.
What good will that do? Just leave me to starve instead. Sorry, next time, I'll...
The workers' resolve begins to crumble under the Viscount's cruelty. Lloyd leans forward, voice sharper than ever, demanding why laborers still toil under impossible odds. The trembling worker stammers, eyes darting to red berry vines, then suggests harvesting berries for extra food. The dialogue hints at a new plan to turn surplus into relief. The Viscount leans forward, mocking Lloyd's resolve. He coldly asks if he must resort to a whip to make Lloyd leave the garden. Lloyd flinches but holds his ground, refusing to back down. The Viscount's taunt tests Lloyd's willingness to stay and lead the workers.
Do I have to whip you to make you leave?
The Viscount opens his mouth, eyes narrowed. He replies with a terse yes, before delivering a stern warning. He tells Lloyd that bending his back repeatedly will cause illness, urging him to straighten his posture and support himself with his legs. The Viscount frames the advice as concern, but his tone drips with disdain, implying Lloyd's weakness. Workers watch, uneasy, fearing the Viscount might punish Lloyd physically if he continues to defy him. The warning hints that the Viscount may resort to force to maintain control. Lloyd feels the threat, yet his resolve hardens, knowing he must outmaneuver the noble's intimidation.
Yes.
Lloyd storms the garden, brandishing fresh seeds and a fiery speech, exposing the Viscount's cruelty and forcing the noble to claim the newly sown rose as his gift to the realm. Lloyd wins the peasant's fierce loyalty, feeling a surge of collective hope, while the Viscount feels his iron grip slipping as his reputation crumbles under the workers' newly awakened defiance. The garden's overseers stare at the divided crowd, and the Viscount eyes Lloyd's platform, ready to unleash a brutal retaliation that could shatter the fragile alliance before sunrise.
Let me do the heavy lifting while you sit back and enjoy. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari every week.
The Viscount threatens to raze the whole village tomorrow unless his jam empire can feed the starving city. From the misty edge of the settlement, the enigmatic estate developer known only as Chinese Letter steps onto the scene. He watches villagers lugging baskets of ruby-red berries, sweat dripping from their foreheads. Two strangers emerge from the crowd, their eyes burning with purpose. One will shape the land, the other will rewrite destiny. Chinese Letter tightens his grip, vowing to act before the dawn deadline. The next scene will spark his first daring move. Perched atop a wind-scarred hill, the Viscount surveys his sprawling estate. His gaze lingers on the tangled vines of the scarlet berries, calculating loss against looming debt. "Young master, I have a report," the junior official announces, eyes bright. He explains that the crimson berries, cultivated on Viscount Ramona's lands, can be fermented into a delicate wine. Though his brewing knowledge is limited, the concept ignites excitement among the workers. The accidental fermentation in a makeshift tent, combined with pure-prone river water, yields a flawless, premium-tasting wine. Hope swells as the prospect of a new revenue stream glitters. The report details how the tent's microclimate, paired with crystal-clear prone river water, sparked perfect fermentation. The resulting wine, smooth and aromatic, draws cheers from the villagers. Viscount Ramona, once notorious for idle luxury, now labors tirelessly, earning the townsfolk's admiration. Diego erupts, brandishing the freshly printed contract. "Look, the working hours are written here." He accuses the overseer of ignoring them. The Viscount snaps, branding his outburst insane, and points to the penalty clause. Anyone who quits faces a crippling fine. The crowd watches the heated exchange, realizing the contract shackles them tighter than any chain. The threat of fines looms, tightening the laborers' grip on their precarious livelihoods.
Sudden. Working hours are in the contract. Can't you read?
What insane, you quit. Check the penalty clause, fine for resigning.
The Viscount raises her arms, declaring the brewery's triumph after months of hardship. Her voice rings across the yard, a rallying cry of pride. The chief pauses, his gaze softening on the Viscount's weary face. He whispers a thin reassurance, urging her to endure the hardships ahead. Acknowledging the dam's strain on her lands, he still insists the estate's future hinges on its completion. The Viscount nods faintly, jaw clenched, as the crew readies their shovels. The moment underscores the personal cost of relentless ambition.
Hang in there, Viscount.
Standing on the freshly dug trench, the Viscount raises her voice above the clamor of shovels. She points to the blueprint spread on the table and commands, "Push forward. The river will bow to our will." Her proclamation reverberates, stirring the laborers' resolve. The urgency of the dam project surges, and Diego watches, uneasy, as the flood of ambition threatens to swallow their homes.
Until the day you rise again and rule the world, fight on.
The Viscount erupts, slamming the table and unrolling the dam blueprint with ferocious intensity. She demands the prone river be rerouted, the massive reservoir rise, and the Aotearoa project solidify its fate. Diego watches his plea crumble as the Viscount dismisses his arguments, feeling his influence evaporate while the laborers brace for endless toil under a looming dam that could swallow their homes. A low tremor shivers through the trench, hinting at an unseen fault that could unleash the river's wrath and derail the dam before the first stone sets, leaving the Viscount's authority teetering on collapse.
You watched the whole thing. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. That's all I ask.
He raised the capital in a single sunrise. Now his empire crumbles in silence. A shattered scene reveals the greatest estate developer, silhouette towering over broken towers. Behind him, ghostly flashes of a forgotten monster surge, recalling ancient wars. Power blazes outward while ruin clings to his heels. This contrast fuels the monster's looming amnesia. He awakens blank, no memory of his birth. The monster stares at cracked stone, voice trembling. "I cannot recall my origin nor how I arrived." His eyes sweep the ruins, hunting any clue. Identity loss leaves him exposed, inviting enemies to strike. A cold challenge from Arch looms on the horizon. Two scenes swirl with dark ink, ancient symbols drifting like ash. Lloyd slams a drafting table, ink splattering as he sketches a self-levitating aqueduct. The half-awake monster huddles nearby, clutching a cracked crystal, eyes flickering with half-remembered war cries. "You still think I'm a potato?" The creature snaps, sarcasm dripping. Lloyd smirks, "Only if you stop freezing time for fun." A giant hamster squeaks, scattering gears that glow with the red heart's pulse. The final two scene blaze with stark symbols. Bold ink spells the numbers. Beneath, a golden character Chinese letter glows fiercely. The monster watches, recognizing the sequence as part of an ancient code tied to his forgotten past. The numbers likely seal a date. Chinese letter hints at the red heart artifact's metallic core. The monster staggers back, breathing hard. He throws his arms wide, crying, "Don't leave me alone!" His voice echoes off stone walls, trembling with fear. Arch's retreat creates a gap in his plan, exposing him to the artifact's awakening. Panic signals a critical loss of support. With his friends gone, isolation deepens. Lantern light flickers over cracked tiles as the courtyard empties. The monster watches the path Arch took, seeing only dust swirling where footsteps vanished. A cold wind rattles the crystal in his hand. Silence presses, emphasizing the void left by missing companions. This visual cue marks the turning point toward a solo confrontation. A distant shape begins to form on the horizon. He spots a scrap of parchment on the ground, scribbled P2. He pockets it, believing it a coordinate or cipher. The monster studies the numbers, sensing a hidden map to the artifact's vault. This tiny clue could unlock the path to reversing the ancient time freeze. He tucks the note into his coat, determined to decode it later. The next step will test whether the code leads to the dragon's lair. Bing looks concerned, asking if the monster is okay. He shrugs, replying, "It's nothing, I'm fine." The monster feels a strange surge building inside, a new power or memory stirring. He scans the dim ground, trying to locate its source. The air feels heavy with unknown energy.
The monster confronts a towering nightmare in the shadows, snatches a torn parchment marked P2, and feels a hidden map pulse beneath his fingers, igniting a surge of untamed power. He feels the ancient energy surge, his heart hammering as the map awakens. He trembles, fearing the loss of his ugly potato-faced companion, vowing never again to be separated, while the new power claws at his mind, threatening both salvation and ruin. The conflict between his fear and newfound strength crackles like a storm. The hulking silhouette watches, the parchment's secret remains unread, and the companion's voice fades, leaving the monster poised on the brink of an abyss that threatens to swallow everything. Darkness presses, and the silence promises a decisive battle.
You got lucky finding this video. Don't rely on luck twice. Subscribe to Manwa with Harry.
The crew puts the last bolt in the chaotic site. Lee Jun-woo, Yoon Si-yeon, Kim Min-kyo, and Grandmaster Park stand amid fresh towers. A far-off explosion shatters the quiet, shaking the district. Dark plume climbs into the sky. Bye-bye. Lee Jun-woo braces as a second blast looms, ready to cripple their dream. The sky darkens and tension crackles like static. The second blast erupts at the foundation, rippling shockwaves across the site. Thick smoke chokes the air. Kim Min-kyo darts to survey the cracked steel. Yoon Si-yeon catches Lee Jun-woo's flushed skin and urges him to pause.
You have a fever. Rest now.
Flames ignite memories of an ancient beast lurking in legend. Tribal warriors surge forward, banners snapping, war cries echoing. They sprint toward the trembling earth, craving the beast's power. Lee Jun-woo watches, plotting how to channel their momentum into his estate scheme. A sudden roar from the Guardian erupts, heralding a fresh challenge. The roar reverberates, shaking the stones beneath their feet. Lee and his allies kneel before the towering beast, hands raised in reverence. The farm Guardian lowers its massive head, sealing their pact. Light surges from its horn, gifting magical aid for reconstruction. Lord Guang's army advances, eyes fixed on the new alliance. The pact glows, a beacon against the looming darkness. The farm Guardian emits a pulse of raw magic. Dust billows as workers scramble. Yoon Si-yeon raises her barrier, but the shockwave shreds it. Kim Min-kyo shouts orders, directing crews to evacuate. Grandmaster Park mutters a rapid stabilization spell, but the magic flickers. The giant hamster darts away, startled. The site's safety hangs by a thread. In the next scene, the team spots a familiar silhouette on the horizon. The silhouette hints at an old ally or a new foe. The strongest blast slams the central pillar, shattering stone and steel. Lee Jun-woo charges forward, hammer in hand, trying to brace the structure. The farm Guardian roars, its massive head lowering in warning. The blast cracks the barrier's core, exposing the foundation to raw magical energy. The farm Guardian emits a sharp crackle. Lee Jun-woo freezes, listening. Kim Min-kyo turns toward the sound, questioning its source. Yoon Si-yeon recalls an old legend of demon folk that once guided the Guardian. What was that sound?
You felt the demon folk before, didn't you?
The ancient Guardian's secret link to demons looms ahead. The crackle hints at a deeper, darker pact. Lee Jun-woo pauses, recalling an old tale. He shares a legend among LS about a massive magical beast that once aided the farms. Yoon Si-yeon listens, intrigued. Kim Min-kyo watches, skeptical. The story hints at a forgotten ally that could aid them against the looming explosion.
The legendary farm Guardian erupts from the crater. It's colossal for shimmering. It declares a vow to stand united with the team, sealing the battlefield with raw, untamed power. The battlefield trembles, honoring the newfound bond. Lee Jun-woo feels hope ignite as the beast's promise mirrors his yearning for survival. Yoon Se-yeon wrestles lingering doubts. The team senses salvation and the weight of past sacrifices. Their hearts beat in unison with the Guardian's promise. A silent figure perched on the hidden cliff watches the reunion, its unseen motives looming. The team wonders whether the Guardian's alliance will draw a greater, hidden threat. A storm gathers, hinting at the hidden figure's next move.
100% pure story, 0% filler. Subscribe to Manwa with Harry.
The front row estate teeters on the brink. Hope crumbles like ash. Emily storms the manor, petition clenched like a shield. The icy countess meets her gaze, scoffs, and says the Kuga family still withholds consent. Emily fires back. Marriage could pull the Frontras out of debt. The countess snarls, reminding her that bloodlines reject orc heritage and that a tiny outsider cannot sway them. The air crackles as Emily steels herself for a showdown that will force her secret blade to surface. She steadies, ready to clash with the overprotective relatives. A wind-swept village in the Magenta Kingdom flickers on the horizon, a false calm masking a storm. We don't need a dainty princess-in-law, the matriarch bellows, waving a dismissive hand. She threatens to cast the bride out. Gasps ripple through the assembled relatives. Kuga steps forward, fists clenched, roaring, "If you force her out, I'll abandon this house." The matriarch snarls back, "You won't leave until a corpse stains the floor." She points a shaking finger at Kuna, her voice a jagged blade. The giant hamster squeaks, startled by the rising fury. Kuna's eyes brim with tears, clutching her dress. Emily watches, pulse racing, as prejudice edges toward bloodshed. The Frontradette crisis looms if this marriage collapses.
Kuna!
A stern cousin rises, declaring, "An orc must look terrifying to survive." Kuga lifts his hand, a sharp signal that the hunt begins. He declares, "Only the survivor claims victory." He orders Emily to stay still, warning her not to interfere. He also mentions a pretty little girl choosing her own battle, hinting at hidden motives. The nobles ready their weapons, tension spikes, and the arena turns hostile. The fight escalates as everyone prepares for bloodshed.
Start! Hunt! Victory goes to the last standing.
A low growl echoes, promising more chaos. A collective gasp ripples through the hall as Kuga's harsh decree lands. Emily's eyes widen, the nobles murmur, unsure how to react. The lingering uncertainty raises the stakes. Any misstep could spark full-scale violence among the aristocrats. The beast continues, "You're cute, tiny, adorable. How did you seduce Kuna?" It pauses, then snarls, "Your forearm muscles rival any warriors. I'll claim Kuna as my prize." Its words reveal a twisted plan to use Kuna as a weapon. Emily recognizes the looming threat to her ally. The creature's feigned admiration masks deadly intent. The revelation forces Emily to shield Kuna at all costs. Emily must stop the beast before it harms Kuna. The crowd erupts, chanting for the tiny yet fierce warrior. Their voices drown the clatter of armor. A rhythmic om-om drums in the background, matching the chant. The excitement lifts the warrior's spirit, granting a surge of confidence.
The towering beast lumbers into the stone hall, its gaze locking onto Emily. It snarls, promising to hand Kuna over to a mysterious yoke. Horns blare, shadows crawl across the floor, sealing the ominous promise. Emily and Javier stand before the blood-stained archive, the crushing weight of countless enslaved souls pressing down. They dare to shatter the cycle, hearts ablaze with fierce hope and a terrifying fear of loss. Kuna disappears into the moonlit forest, the beast's ominous promise echoing through the hall. Creeping shadows converge, a deadly showdown looms, and every fate trembles on a razor's edge.
Thousands of Manhwa fans have already subscribed to Manwa with Harry. It's your turn.
The tower crumbles, plunging the city into darkness. Lee Joon-woo watches steel twist, dust choking the courtyard. A lanky newcomer, nicknamed the Fishy Guy, lurks, eyes darting over the wreckage. Joon-woo bellows for attention. The blast shatters the district's power, snarling the estate's deadline. The crew reels, yet the day's grind still looms. "Hey," the team sighs, unaware that a staffing shakeup is about to erupt. Lee Joon-woo strides across the cleared lot, eyes scanning the fresh foundation. Exhausted workers drop their tools, grins breaking after relentless hours. Mira steps up, slaps Joon-woo's shoulder, proclaims the day's work finished. Cheers erupt as the sun sinks behind the half-built estate, morale soaring. Joon-woo rounds up the remaining crew. "A new part-timer joins us today," he declares, gesturing to a nervous teenager clutching a ledger. The rookie steps forward, eyes bright with eagerness. Joon-woo stresses the urgency of mastering the critical timer before the next phase, reminding them that every second counts and the timer will be the linchpin of their success. The fresh blood could shift workflow, but training is essential. The crew listens, tension building. Joon-woo brandishes the demolition timer, voice razor sharp. "Watch the timer, obey its cue, and you'll survive." He pauses, scanning the blueprint. The crew nods, the countdown now a living command. A faint scribble, CSEC, marks the algorithm's core. Joon-woo notices Jami's pallor by the scaffolding. "You okay?" he asks, puzzled. Jami snaps, no assault, just saying goodbye to that jerk, nothing more. Their clash hints at a hidden saboteur among the crew, fraying unity. Jami, are you all right? What do you mean?
That jerk did nothing. I was just saying goodbye.
The sneaky rat watches from the shadows. Joon scans the crew, zeroing in on a narrowed stare. He looks like a sneaky rat, he declares, flagging a potential threat. If he bothers anyone, report it, I'll handle it. The accusation isolates the suspect, sharpening collective vigilance. He looks like a sneaky rat. If he bothers you, tell me. A wooden sign reads Chinese letter, many villages. The crew stares, realizing their next estate lies in a remote settlement. The destination promises fresh challenges, demanding Joon Woo's modern techniques on untamed land. Jin erupts, why are you always like that? I'm embarrassed. Joon Woo watches, surprised. The crew freezes, tension spiking. Jin's outburst reveals deep insecurity about judgment, a crack that could stall demolition prep. The next scene shows another teammate pleading for a break. Mira sighs, and besides, I don't deserve this. Joon Woo nods, hearing her self-pity. The crew exchanges weary glances, morale dips. The admission threatens the demolition schedule. Joon Woo feels the weight of doubt. Soon, another voice declares they feel like an idiot. A battered sign proclaims survival across the site. Joon Woo and the crew absorb its weight, a stark reminder. Only the adaptable will finish. Resolve hardens as they brace for heavy work. Silent scene now set the stage for the new part-timer's uneasy entrance. The new part-timer, the fishy co-worker, lingers by the wreckage, eyes darting between tools and foremen. Sang-ho points, demanding he step up. The rookie swallows, hands trembling on a shovel. Jin watches, arms crossed, measuring his nerves. The crew's chatter fades. Each knows the newcomer could be a weak link. The team readies demolition, fearing the mystery rat's sabotage. Joon Woo unfurls the blueprint on a crate, tracing demolition zones.
Joon Woo spreads the blueprint across a crate, marking demolition zones. The crew lines up. Sang-ho forces the shaky part-timer to grip a shovel and step into the wreckage. Joon Woo confronts his fear of change, watching his dreams crumble, while Jaeyoung abandons school, swapping certainty for raw survival, leaving the team teetering between resolve and despair. The battered survival sign towers over the site. The part-timer's trembling hands clutch a shovel, and the looming collapse threatens to engulf the crew before the first blast reverberates.
Only the top 1% of readers make it this far. Prove you're one of them. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The city collapses around him. The greatest estate developer smiles, eyes flicking to fresh plots. The splash screen blazes. The greatest estate developer. Below, a cryptic note whispers of an untold story about a fishy guy, a hidden player ready to shake the land market. Lee Joon-woo's shadow looms, promising brutal stakes for any challenger. Ji-young's demolition crew is about to cross paths with that mystery. Y'all storms onto the demolition zone, barking, "Clear the wreckage, bring back anything that surfaces." Ji-young scans shattered steel doors, piles of rubble, danger looming like a dark cloud. He mutters uneasy about the chaos swallowing the site. The command punches him, demanding proof of his worth in this hostile arena. Ji-young shouts, "Why are you trampling my pride, y'all?" He points at y'all's condescending gestures, demanding answers. Y'all snaps coldly, "Because of you, tomorrow will be comfortable for us." He adds, "Want me to die? If I just drop dead here, your life would be easier, right?" Ji-young's desperation fuels a willingness to sacrifice everything to force change. The threat teeters both men on a knife's edge. Ji-young readies his next move. "Why are y'all stomping on someone's pride? Because of you, things are gonna get comfortable for us starting tomorrow." Ji-young repeats, failed again. He asks, "Why do you always make that face?" Y'all replies, "People say I'm unlikable, but you're actually charming." He adds, "If you saw me laugh, you should take it back." This reveals y'all's insecurity and hints at a hidden bond between them. "Why do you always make that face?"
People say I'm unlikable, but you're actually pretty charming.
Ji-young must now tackle the demolition debris under y'all's watchful eye. Y'all leans forward, whispering, "I want to see your smile." Ji-young stays silent, eyes locked on the wreckage. The pressure forces Ji-young to confront his confidence and y'all's demanding gaze.
I want to see it. Your smile.
A booming voice cuts through the site noise. Big problem? The boss injured himself at another site. It's not serious, but he can't come today. Ji-young snaps his head toward the speaker, eyes narrowing. He realizes the supervisor won't be present to oversee demolition. Without Y'all's guidance, Ji-young must step up, rally the crew, and keep the project moving. The pressure mounts as time runs short. Ji-young must decide whether to take charge of the demolition. The crew scrambles, realizing they must finish demolition today. A foreman shouts, "Blueprint, everyone do what you can." He orders the massive steel door to be taken off first, handing a grinder to the nearest worker. Ji-young declares, "I want to marry Y'all." Y'all smiles, nods, "Okay, let's do it." Their agreement strengthens their personal bond, potentially affecting future project decisions. This marriage promise links personal and professional stakes. The crew watches, surprised, and the news spreads across the camp. "I want to marry Y'all."
Okay. Let's do it.
Their union may give Ji-young leverage over upcoming contracts. Ji-young asks, "You aren't hesitant about the marriage?" Y'all replies, "We'll protect our estate together." The conversation ties their personal life to the estate's future security. "You're not hesitant. Hesitant about what? I mean, marriage comes with all kinds of worries."
Ji-young declares that mastering low-level demolition hacks crowns him leader. He strides onto the ruined manor, where the giant hamster Hama points to the shattered courtyard and declares, "Here." The words echo, marking the birth of his empire. Ji-young secures Y'all's hand in marriage, melding love and alliance. The crew's respect fuels his ambition, yet the weight of safeguarding their shared estate gnaws at his confidence. Hama's cryptic here hints that the shattered manor hides unseen threats, leaving Ji-young to wonder if his newly claimed empire will rise or crumble beneath hidden forces.
The only Manhwa channel you need. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
He bolts from the infirmary, sprinting to erect a protective wall before the encroaching city devours him. Chinese Letter, the legendary estate developer, bursts out, gripping a ripped contract that flutters in the wind. A breathless messenger darts in, eyes wide, shouting that a massive debt looms on the horizon. He warns that the debt is bound to Lord Guang, a threat that could crush everything. Chinese Letter stares at his vault, now a hollow echo of wealth. The ledger blazes crimson, each line screaming that every coin has disappeared. He grasps the brutal truth. Imperial creditors have stripped his empire, leaving him broke, exposed, and his grand estate dreams shattered. All my saved money just vanished. A low chuckle reverberates from the darkness. Jin Hwan emerges, smirk curling his lips, muttering, "Ha!" He sighs, "I told you to scout the lower tunnels first." The tension eases, revealing a reluctant ally.
"Ha! I told you to scout the lower tunnels first."
The laugh signals an unexpected partnership. Mira grabs Junwoo's hand, whispering, "Did you cross the afterlife to save me?" Junwoo, weary, admits he fell first, the sole bruised survivor of this clash. The looming gate ahead crackles, promising a deadly trial. Grieving parents linger in a dim corridor that feels like a liminal waiting room. Before them, a vision flickers. Their son poised to enter university. Overseer Nora announces her intent to relocate Suho's soul into a parallel world. She likens the process to entering a simulation, referencing the viral YouTube videos the parents recognized. This reveals the radical mechanism driving the experiment.
"I will transfer your son's soul to a parallel world."
She then outlines the multiverse layers that enable such a shift. Nora sketches the multiverse, explaining that the line universe crowns endless lower line universes, each containing deeper realms. She clarifies that worlds within games or novels count as lower universes, not merely authorial constructs. This sets the stage for the forthcoming wish extraction.
"Lower universes exist beneath the line universe we know."
The machine erupts in blinding light as Suho's consciousness resurfaces. His eyes ignite, mirroring the harvested wish energy. The parents observe, hope swelling, as the apparatus transmutates the wish into raw power. Their redemption teeters on this pivotal instant. Now the parents must decide whether to keep the power.
The team ignites the portal device, channeling Suho's returning consciousness into a searing conduit that begins converting his potent wish into raw, pulsating energy. Grieving parents gaze at the luminous surge, hope blossoming as the harvested wish promises salvation. Yet Suho's lingering doubt looms, threatening to unravel the experiment and shatter their fragile redemption. The holographic map flickers, unveiling deeper lower universe layers poised to swallow the excess energy, leaving the team teetering on the edge of an uncontrollable cascade that could unravel reality itself.
Checkmate. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
A final contract erupts, setting the palace ablaze. The kingdom trembles. A blazing title flashes. The greatest estate developer. A subtitle flickers. Untold Stories 07 Her Majesty Taste is? An unseen announcer whispers the question. The camera pulls back to Vey Magenta, Stone Street still scarred by Winter Heart's fury. Smoke curls from shattered shutters. Merchants shove carts, soldiers patrol broken arches, citizens murmur about the king's next move. The capital teeters on collapse. The royal family must act now or watch everything crumble. The throne's stability hangs by a thread. A sudden royal marriage proposal already threatens to ignite further chaos. Lloyd roars his refusal, shouting, "I won't marry you." The echo ricochets off stone walls. Courtiers stare, some shocked, others amused by his stubbornness. A whisper spreads. The suitor lacks popularity. His claim to the throne feels hollow. The crowd's reaction threatens to undermine the political alliance the king hoped to cement. Lloyd's defiance risks losing the marriage's financial boon, which could fund his inventions and lift his family from debt. The kingdom's leaders watch, weighing whether to force the match or abandon the scheme. The outcome could secure or shatter the fragile economic lifeline. The hall falls silent, awaiting the king's next move. King Rex steps back onto the dais, expression hardening. Another noble scoffs, demanding the name of the palace painter. "Which painter created this? It doesn't resemble him at all," he declares, mocking the artist. His criticism fuels a growing dispute over the portrait's authenticity. The ridicule threatens to turn the artwork into a political weapon. A third voice will confirm the portrait's failure to capture Lloyd. A third courtier steps in, eyes narrowed, bluntly stating, "It really doesn't look like him." He nods, agreeing with the previous complaints. The agreement cements collective doubt about the portrait's likeness. This shared skepticism could undermine any claim tied to the painting's subject. Soon a scholar will launch a harsh description of Lloyd's appearance. A young noble examines the portrait and declares the face matches the subject, insisting it's definitely not ugly. The king then calls the chief attendant over, demanding an answer about the painting. The exchange signals that the court will move toward an official decision on Lloyd's reputation. Looking at it, his face matches the portrait, definitely not ugly.
Chief attendant, I have something to ask.
The king's question may decide Lloyd's future at court. A court official asks the assembled nobles what they think of Lloyd Frontera's merits. He mentions Lloyd's skill as a retainer and his supposed brilliance. Another noble interrupts, saying the discussion is really about Lloyd's face.
The king rises, points at Lloyd Frontera, and declares a marriage offer that would bind the notorious noble to the crown, sending shockwaves through the bewildered court. Lloyd faces love and duty, while the court grapples with his ugly reputation versus his warm heart, risking loyalty, honor, and his very future. As the king's decree hangs in the air, courtiers whisper about hidden motives, and the sudden three echo hints at unseen threats that could shatter the impending alliance.
When the anime adaptation gets announced, you'll already know the whole story. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.